Hi, this is Chris for the SickFaxes.com, and I'm here with Tef to talk about Zombie Army Trilogy, a game from Rebellion Developments. And they are self-publishing this. These are the guys who did Sniper Elite series, probably is the game that they will be most well known for these days. But I think this used to be called Nazi Zombie Army, right, Tef?
Yeah, it actually used to be called Sniper Elite Nazi Zombie Army, which in and of itself is a bit of a mouthful.
Yeah.
When you get to the third game, it's but they're sort of stripped back with the branding, so it sort of stands on its own 2 feet a bit more. And like there's an interview which will go live around about the same time as this, where I was talking to Tim Jones of Rebellion, and he was explaining that because they're also self-publishing out as a retail release, that makes it a little more tricky to keep Nazi in the name.
Yeah, I can see that.
So they've kind of pulled it back. It's just Zombie Army. I mean, it's obviously still Nazi zombies, but that's
well, as long as that's clear.
Yeah, it would be a bit weird if like they were just everything in the game was now normal zombies and they weren't really going into it. But yeah, no, it's still there. They still mention the war. It's fine. So
this is still tied to the Sniper Elite series, though. So you still got that kind of sniping gameplay in it, etc., and not mixing anything else in there.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's the Nazi Zombie Army games started off as a kind of offshoot of after the second Sniper Elite game. That was V2, which was basically retelling the same story. And it literally transposes zombies into those Nazi uniforms, and then you've got to pop their heads from a distance and try and stop them from getting to you. They do different things, slightly different things with like the way the game looks, the co-op. You've got more people who can join in together in co-op, so it's 4 players instead of 2, and stuff like that. So it's a little offshoot, and it's cool how they've turned it into like a separate thing now, and it's grown more important for them. So it must have been quite popular. As well as still keeping those Sniper Elite games going. Yeah.
Obviously, Sniper Elite 3 had the desert setting to it. Is that being copied over here, or is it set back in Germany again?
Well, yeah. So this was one of the things I was curious to see, and no, basically, it's still in Berlin and Germany and stuff like that. It would have been quite interesting to see it in a desert setting. I think. It would have been a very different feel.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I mean, even on its own 2 feet, like the visual style that they have in the game is quite distinct and different to like just the war-torn ruins of Berlin that they have in the first 2 games. So there's a lot more smoke and fog and swirling colours in the background, just like in that fog, because they've got like full-screen colour treatments and stuff going on. There's a lot more fire, and there's a really quite nice effect where like the zombies have got glowing eyes, which in and of itself is quite creepy, but then once they get to a certain distance, they're quite literally just silhouetted against the background.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, it's really, really lovely effect. You've got all of these dark shapes coming towards you, and I think that because the first 2 Zombie Army games were PC only and they were sort of like smaller releases, I think it's fine that they're not sticking with the desert setting, or they're not trying to mix things up, because it doesn't matter, because it's still, for people buying it on console and for people who haven't seen the first 2 games before, it's still going to be quite a refreshing look and refreshing take on what you can do with this particular setting.
Yeah, I think the most important question here, though, is obviously these slow or fast zombies. That's always the key question in any zombie game.
Well, yeah, obviously they've stuck with the only possible logical option, which is to have slow zombies. I mean, fast zombies are stupid.
Correct. That's fine then.
Yeah.
Fast zombies aren't zombies. That's terrible.
Yeah.
But in that case, does that not make it rather simple from a kind of sniping perspective? You've got these slow, shuffling zombies coming at you. It seems that they'd be relatively easy to pick off.
Yes and no. I mean, you know they're coming for you, but their motions are quite jerky as they're walking around, so it's actually quite difficult to pinpoint a headshot and get that perfectly on target. I think much more so than when you've got like an upright standing human being who's just wandering around on patrol. So even though they are coming at you very, very slowly, it's still very tricky to get those headshots and like take them all out. And so that's kind of where the co-op side of things come into it, and that helps to make it a bit easier. But it's not just those slow zombies. There are other types of zombies as well in there. There's stuff like elites who've got lots of armor, and so like you want to kind of headshot those more. You've got hulking, great big chainsaw-wielding beasties who you again want to headshot and they take so many bullets to take down. You have there's crazy fiery ones. I'm not entirely sure what they are about. There's others which will resurrect like skeletons to come at you, and there's sniper zombies.
No, that's bullshit. You can't have sniper zombies. You can't have sniper zombies. Like, zombies are not intelligent enough to snipe.
Well, okay, so when the third campaign in this, because it's got the first two campaigns from the first two games included, the third campaign is based around you going to Berlin to take out Nazi zombie Hitler.
Oh, well, obviously.
Yeah, okay, but it seems from the trailers that he is still quite an accomplished orator in Nazi Zombieland. So, like, what is he saying? Is he just going, "Rah, rah, rah, rah," and all of the zombies agree?
Yeah.
Well, maybe. I don't know. But like it's not just like strict zombies. I don't think these are the reanimated dead. I think these are kind of like the infected. Like it's a different route for where their zombification came from. So you do have sniper zombies who will, and these guys are really annoying. They jump around all over the level and they get to particular vantage points, and basically the best way to take them out is to just wait for where they're going to jump to and shoot them as soon as they land.
Does that make counter-sniping actually slightly more tricky than it is in Sniper Elite 3 or any of the core Sniper Elite games?
Yeah, I think it definitely does. It really, to move on to like talking about the co-op side of things, you've got 4 players, up to 4 players working together, compared to the main Sniper Elite games where it's always up to 2. And so they are chucking more stuff at you, I think. But yeah, you do really need to be on your toes, especially against those sniper zombies. But I think that has changed the overall difficulty curve. I'm not sure how it plays when you're playing solo, because I've only played it for like 30-40 minutes as a group of 4. But when you have certain amounts of zombies and certain kinds of zombies coming at you, it's still really, really very challenging, especially when they're moving around, jerking, and you can't quite get those headshots, and it puts a lot of pressure on you. So you don't need to have those fast zombies for you to go, oh crap, oh crap, oh crap, they're coming for me. They've done quite well in getting you and putting you under pressure. The only problem with that is that with the first Zombie Army game, I think it was, I played that with a few guys from TSA, and like we very quickly bumped into this point where we were just completely stuck, and it stopped being fun, which was a bit of a shame. So I'm hopeful that with the campaign at least they have tweaked it so that it's a little bit easier. There are a couple of new moves though, which have been filtered back from the third campaign all the way through to the beginning. So these persist across the whole game, where you can like kick people over and then stomp on their heads. And that, when you're dealing with just like the normal zombies, that's a really big help, because well, firstly you're not wasting vital shotgun ammo or something like that on them. I
was going to ask that, because that sounds like that's a pretty neat move to have handy. But given that that's come back into the old games, is there anything else to can recommend this to people who've played the first two? Like, is it worth picking this up as a trilogy if you've already played Zombie Army 1 and 2?
Yeah, I mean, there's... Firstly, like, you can still play through those first 10 missions again, but then you've got the 5 new ones. And there's also a horde mode, so it's like a more free-form co-op experience, basically, and you've got waves of enemies coming at you, and it's not tied down to like a specific story in like linear corridor through a city. It's just like, you've got this place, you've got to stick together, you've got to defend it, and you can also like wander around these levels and explore and find some of like the new weapons in there. There's a couple which are a bit crazy. I can't remember what they're called, but there's like a really powerful shotgun, for example. You can pick up a Panzerfaust, which should be quite good at taking down the more difficult zombies, maybe. I'm just imagining them exploding in a fiery shower of blood and guts and stuff. That would be quite amusing.
That sounds great and really interesting that they've added new stuff, particularly new horde mode in co-op. But is that co-op available in campaign as well, or is it just to horde mode?
Yeah, co-op is all across the board.
Oh, that's great. So you've got, and you're saying earlier it's 4-player, right?
Yeah, it's 4-player. They've added to the 4 characters not really characters. I don't think they even say anything. But they've added to the 4 character models that they had in the first 2 games. So they've got 4 men and they've got 4 women that you can choose from, and it's sort of like one of each nationality.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah. So it's like you do have Germans on your side as well, because obviously humanity trumps nationality, I guess.
Okay, yeah.
When you're fighting against zombies.
And so officially more diverse than Assassin's Creed Unity.
Yes. No, everybody's got a Cockney accent.
Oh, they've ruined it. Just completely countered it. And obviously, the final question is, when can we expect to see this on shelves, actually, given that they're doing it as a physical release?
Yes, you can find it at your local Sainsbury's. It's out on March 6th, and it's for Xbox One, PlayStation 4 and PC. And also, if you've got it on PC, or if you've got one of the first 2 games on PC, then you should get some kind of discount to get to the full trilogy.
Oh, that's pretty good. That's a nice touch.
Yeah, I mean, it'd be a bit of a slap in the face if they didn't do it that way.
Yeah, I mean, particularly as you say, given they're re-releasing those first 2 games here, that's a good deal. It's a good way of doing it. Even if they are adding stuff from the last game back into the originals, it's still nice to give people that discount. Well, it does sound potentially interesting. I've never played a Sniper Elite game, but for people who haven't, would you recommend jumping into this or going back and playing a different Sniper Elite game?
It depends on if you want to play it with a group of people. This one's really all about the co-op, whereas the first one was Sniper Elite 3, for example. I feel that has a lot going for it when you're playing it solo.
All right.
So yeah, I'd say if you're on your own, or if you've just got you and a mate, then I'd say to get Sniper Elite 3, because that's actually really quite good, and you've got very open levels to kind of explore and find different routes through to the objective. And then if you've got a bigger group and you are a more accomplished sniper, maybe to pop those jerking zombie heads, then look at Zombie Army Trilogy.
Excellent. Well, that all sounds really interesting, Tef. Thanks for talking to us about that. This has been Kris and Tef for the sickfaxis.com talk about Zombie Army Trilogy. Goodbye.
Bye.
I can't believe this has happened. Good to see you. We have a situation. One of our best men. I'm sure